Hey guys, with the wide variety of LED light bars available on the market today, I wanted to take time to make a video to compare some of the most popular choices that Amazon has to offer. I'm taking full advantage of their free return policy. I'm ordering all these in, doing a comparison, and then I'm sending everything back that I don't like or don't want to use. So the main thing I'm focused on here is the Oedro brand. I've also got a few from Nilight, and then I've got two from AKD. I'm also going to show you a comparison to some of the more premium bars from superbrightleds.com. I've got a wide variety of lights here. I'm looking for lights that serve mainly as spotlights to shoot out far in front of the vehicles. I'm looking for floodlights that'll shoot off to the sides so I can see when I'm working. I'm looking at different mounting patterns. The Oedro has their side mounting patterns, whereas the Nilights have kind of a self-captured nut. It's a totally different system. And I've also got a mixture of straight versus curved. So the hardest thing to find was the straight light bars in a 50+ inch configuration. That's where the AKD brand came in. To power them, I got this adapter for the DeWalt 20 volt series. It's just slides on, has an on-off switch, has a fused link in it, and then it's got a quick connect end. So you can sit here and insert your wires and then lock them in. And why this is really convenient, if you want to aim your light bar before you mount it, this allows you to do that without actually having to physically mount it and without having to lug around a huge lead acid battery. So I'm just going to call out these part numbers that are on the SKU tags here, and I'll also be throwing in some picture comparisons I'm taking with my cell phone camera, adjusting the light all the way down. I've got all the lights off that are outside, so hopefully we get a real apples to apples comparison. So this is our, I'm going to call it a control. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lay everything down on the hood at the same level to shine out. I'll also give you a comparison with 4 KC highlighters. These have 130 watt bulbs in them, and we're going to be pointing out into the cemetery. And all I have on right now is a headlight, and I'm looking in the camera, and it looks a hell of a lot brighter in the camera than it does in real life. So that's why I'm going to give you the cell phone pictures for true apples to apples comparison, because I know this camera with its auto lighting, it's going to screw everything up. Just for a comparison's sake, here's low beams with just the halogen headlights. There is our high beams with the halogens. And then there's the KC highlighter 130 watt halogen bulbs. So first up is our Nilight. This is just a 12-inch floodlight that I was looking to get to light up the side of a bed of a truck to throw out as much horizontal light, not necessarily deep light. It's got a little bit of a spot pattern in the middle, so if I hold it all the way up, we can get it just to barely light up that Land Cruiser out there. For comparisons, I'm going to shine them as far out as I can get them. Next up is the Oedro 0031. So this one is twice the cost of the Nilight. This is a 16-inch. It's supposed to be a floodlight. You can see it is a little brighter, a little more light off to the sides, and probably overall just a little clearer light. But for twice the cost, it needs to be a better light. So you do get what you pay for here. I will say the vertical light on it, the vertical spread, the Nilight was more concentrated, so you're not wasting as much light going up into the sky. But I think overall you get more light out of this one. Next up is the Oedro 0020. This is a 16-inch also, and this was the first light I got. It's kind of falsely advertised as a flood spot combo. This is all spotlight, really no floodlight. You can very clearly see the Land Cruiser. Our landmark going beyond the Land Cruiser is going to be the big round tree to the right of it at the far end of the cemetery. You can see there's hardly any light whatsoever scattered off to the sides. If this is all you can fit is a 16-inch light, this definitely puts off some good light. Next up is going to be 0023, which is a 30-inch spotlight. And now you should be able to see that big tree at the end of the cemetery. I can clearly see it here in real life. Again, this one doesn't have any floodlight, it's all spot. This is our 0046. This is like a 42-inch. This is supposed to be a flood spot combo, so I can clearly see the Land Cruiser. I cannot see the tree. The spot pattern is kind of an oval in the middle. It's not just one small round circle or one large circle. It's kind of a horizontal oval, and then there's a decent flood pattern spread with it too. Next up is 0037. This is a 52-inch curved. It's supposed to be a flood spot combo, and this one is, in my opinion, mostly flood. There's no definitive spot pattern in the middle whatsoever. There's no oval or circle. It's just a very good overall light. You get a ton of side light and a great flood pattern. If you're driving normal highway speeds, 40 to 65 miles an hour, you're not going to need to see any further ahead than this light's going to shine for you. Biggest obstacle is going to be finding enough real estate to mount a 52-inch curved light. So I really like this light. I've tried 4 different curved lights at the 50 and 52-inch size. This is one of the top 2 by far. The 0038, that was complete garbage, and the 0047, which is like the quadruple row, also complete garbage, especially for costing the most out of all Oedro 52-inch curved lights. This is 0026. Now this is a flood spot combo. This has that kind of rectangular spot pattern running horizontally, and then it's got a nice wide flood pattern. The flood pattern is not quite as bright as the 0037, but the spot pattern definitely gets this light out further than the 37 light. So this is a 52-inch curved bar. If you're doing higher speeds where you need to see further out ahead of you, this is definitely going to be the best light for you, and it's actually the cheapest 52-inch curved bar that Oedro offers that I could find, so it's actually the best bang for the buck here. So I'm showing you a second light of 0026 from Oedro because Amazon no longer honors their policy of automatically refunding you, so you have the lowest price in a 30-day period when you place an order. They used to automatically refund you after you placed an order for up to 30 days during that return window in case the product went to a cheaper sales price. Now, they won't refund you, period, even if you ask them. They tell you you can go ahead and return your original and order it again if you really want the difference in cost. Well, this is asinine because anything from UPS that's over 4 foot long has a special fee that you have to pay for it being so long, and these lights are over 50 inches long. So I had to send this back on Amazon's dime, and they had to send me a replacement on their dime, which is pretty stupid because it was on sale for 10 bucks cheaper, that I come to find out while I was filming and editing these videos and trying to keep an eye on prices and comparing everything. So just keep that in mind when you're buying any lights that you see in this video. They typically have about a 20% off coupon that you can clip on Amazon's website sometime at least once every month or two. I would never buy one of these if you don't see that coupon code, because chances are it'll be coming up within a couple weeks after you buy it, and then you'll be in my position where you have to return it and order another one. So this particular light, I didn't have the return window to where I could keep my original, get this replacement, and just send this replacement back, and go figure. The way this replacement light was manufactured, the spot beam in the middle is not horizontal. There's 2 circles in the middle, and they're not perfectly horizontally aligned. They're kind of diagonally aligned. This kind of bullshit scenario where Amazon won't refund you anymore because they're hell-bent on making every penny possible is just one more reason I want to quit doing business with them. This is the Oedro flat 50-inch. This is 1008. This is supposed to be a flood pattern, and as you can see, it is a really nice flood pattern. You got a very wide horizontal rectangle spot pattern in the middle that basically equates to a flood pattern as wide as it is. It lights up the Land Cruiser Not as bright as some of the other floodlights, but it does light that up. I don't see the tree at all with this light, but I see everything directly in front of me, all the way from the truck on my right to the snow pile on my left. Now this is the Oedro 1008 replacement light that I got after I sent the first one back because there were two issues with it. Number one, there was a horrendous kind of whining noise when I'd turn it on. That's still present with this light, and after reading some reviews, I think that's just consistent with the way the shielding is kind of neglected with these wires. And then the other problem was there's something loose rattling around inside, and that's at least not on this light. So I'm going to take my pictures now and compare them to the first light because I don't have the first light. Obviously I had to send it back, and we'll see how the pictures compare. The bad part about splitting these videos up on different nights is the humidity and everything alters how you're going to perceive the light. It's going to change how far out the light goes. So I'm trying to do these all on the same night if possible, so we have a real apples to apples comparison. If you look at some of the pictures throughout the video, I'm showing two pictures from two different nights, and what that's showing is just the difference of the perceived light just with the weather conditions. So here's an AKD 40-inch straight light bar. I had originally ordered the 50-inch model. They sent me the wrong thing. I didn't even notice, but you can see this has a pretty good spot and flood combo on it. I don't even know what the part number is because it's not in my purchase order and it wasn't on the box. It's an AKD 40-inch something. It looks like a pretty decent light. I don't even know what it costs, but I thought I'd throw it in the video since I had the footage of it anyway. Now this is the actual AKD 50-inch light bar, straight bar. The first one they sent was actually like a 40-inch. They sent me the wrong part number. This has a great spot pattern. Not much of a flood pattern to it, but comparing this to the 32-inch Oedro spot pattern for the cost of this thing, this is like 90 bucks. The Oedro 31-inch or whatever, 32-inch at 62 bucks. It's gonna be a better value because it's gonna be hard to fit this, but it's definitely got a very white light. It's definitely not yellow at all. Not a bad light bar. Now we've got the Nilight 12-inch floodlight, and I got this because it's so cheap. It's 28 bucks. It's not as bright as the Oedro 16-inch, but for about half the cost, you really can't beat it. I got this to put on the side of the bed on the 925, just for a nice flood pattern to light everything up on the side of the truck. I'm not going for distance, I'm going for width. So comparatively, here's the Oedro 16-inch floodlight, definitely brighter. You're definitely getting more light, but you're paying more. So I guess you're getting more for your money. Goes out a little further, it's a little wider, but it's a 4-inch wider light and it costs more. So this is the roughly 24-inch or 22-inch Oedro 0032, which is right between the 16 and the 32 floodlights. And honestly, out of all three of them, I think the only difference that you're going to notice is the size of the spot in the middle. The width on all three is identical. The light that I get off to the sides on all three is identical. The distance or the throw that I get gets a little bit stronger with each one progressively. The 16 definitely doesn't have as much spot beam throw. The 22 and the 32 inchers seem to be about the same. So if you're looking at them from a cost standpoint, and especially a size for, you know, like your mounting real estate that you have available, I think this 22-inch would be about as big as I'd want to go, because you're going to get more light from 216s than you are from 132. It also depends if you want the spot, if that's really important to you, or if you're just after these for the flood pattern like I am. Taking it a step further, we just got the same Oedro light in the 32-inch version. This thing costs way more than the 16-inch version. Actual light output from where I'm standing, I'm not sure how it's going to show up on camera or on video, but the difference really isn't that significant. It probably goes out a little further with the spot pattern, but again, I don't need distance. I'm trying to just light up the side of the truck as wide as possible. I wanted to try the Nilight versions of this Oedro 32-inch because they're a lot cheaper and they have some different mounting patterns, which could be nice. This is the thinner one. It's really not a bad looking light. It's definitely more of a spot pattern though instead of a floodlight, and I really just want a floodlight. I don't want a spot pattern, and all these light manufacturers seem really obsessed with making spot beams. This is the 30-inch light bar from superbrightleds.com. This is a little bit more of a, I guess, a premium Chinese light. You're still not paying $1,000. This was a little over 200 bucks, but you can feel the quality and the weight and the manufacturing of the light. And then this is the really thick Nilight floodlight, 32 whatever inch. So kind of falsely makes you feel like it's a nice big heavy duty light. The light output compared to the other two kind of sucks. I mean, you can see it, the lights stuff up, but not a very good flood pattern, mostly all spot, and the spot distance is really short. So I rank this really low comparatively. So that's all I have for you for light comparisons. I hope you get something very useful out of this, because I've got over 15 hours into testing and filming and editing this video. I hope one of the big points I get across is that these Amazon light descriptions that say they're flood spot combos, they're all a lie about their beam patterns and their lumens and their wattage. There are definitely good lights. You don't necessarily get what you pay for. You're best off using this review to kind of point you in the direction you're trying to go. And then if you come down to two lights and you're unsure, just order them both and return the one that you don't want to use. This, of course, is just how these lights appear out of the box. We'll see how they hold up once I actually install them and use them. This is by no means a long-term light review video. I'll be saving that for down the road once I have these installed on my trucks and I have them out in the weather and have some hours of usage on them. So look for that. It'll probably be a ways down the road because I want to get plenty of testing in on them before I give them the thumbs up or not. But out of the box, I think we definitely got some clear winners. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in our next video.